Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another anime review. This time I'm reviewing Final Fantasy Unlimited, and I actually went online to wikipedia.org because when I watched it, this was my second time seeing it, so I couldn't recall how the series came to an end. But the series itself was in the process of being completed during the time that Final Fantasy's The Spirits Within was out in movie theaters, and everybody knows that that movie bombed and did terribly. And as a Final Fantasy fan, I like the movie. I like Aki Ross and Gray, but it's really not one of my favorite depictions or stories from Final Fantasy itself. I think that this anime is my absolute favorite. It's got interesting characters, a very complex storyline, worlds within worlds, and this realm that's called Wonderland. And actually, if you watch the Malaysian version of it, they call it the inner world, and then they call the sea the the underrealm of the sea, they call it the alien sea. And then there are different levels, and it's actually quite labyrinthine, but I think it's absolutely colossal. And one of my favorite characters is Black Wind. I just absolutely adore him, even though he may seem a bit aloof and distant and calculating. There's a reason why he doesn't let his heart or his feelings show completely. He has amnesia. He doesn't quite know who he is or remember about the destruction of his world. Actually, they go into that with White Cloud, and later we're introduced to Mowgli, the Moogle. And Mowgli's just a miniature version of Kase. It is so awesome. He's just so cute, but as you well know about Moogles may be cute, but they pack a powerful punch, and they are not to be taken lightly. Another one of my favorite characters is, of course, Lisa Pacifist. I just love her, the warmth of her character, the dedication of her kinjutsu, which is her ability to talk to the spirits and understand the language of the land and control the elements, and shield herself from enemies. And I and you, the brother and sister, we learn actually more about them. They are not as cut and dried as you would think. You would think that, oh, they're brother and sister and they're looking for their parents in Wonderland. It's more than that. It's actually quite involved, and that is revealed along the line as the story continues to develop. And of course, I just absolutely adore Sid. Now, typically I wouldn't go for a character who's blonde, but he is what I consider the anime version of Iron Man, just because he's all into technology and he names his machines, and he is wounded when one of his machines is blown up. It's one of his darlings, and he actually weeps for them, and it's really quite tragic to see him mourn. And Malay, one of the commanders of the Commodore, she is really fantastic, strong female role. She's more of a tomboy, while Lisa, she's more feminine, but she can take care of herself. But she's often the damsel in distress, and Malezu is often kicking butt and taking names. And I like that contrast there that they have between those characters. And one episode that changes, she becomes really girly, and she falls under the spell of a mysterious tower. And it's just a very sweeping series. It's absolutely magnificent. It's enthralling. It just takes you on a ride that you never want it to end. And also the music that's involved in this particular anime is nothing short of just absolutely incredible. I mean, everything that comes from it, even if you watch the music without the anime, it suits it just so well. It just fits it like a glove. And I'm not sure who was responsible. I think it might have been Square Enix, but I know it was Gonzo that was responsible for the anime itself. But it's just absolutely unbelievable, and I can't help but be astonished by it even to this day. And there are still moments within it that make me cry. Um, Another one of my favorite characters, Lou. She's a very cute little character. She actually comes from a world where turning into a werewolf isn't an odd thing. Um, she makes an acquaintance and later becomes friendship with I and you, and she falls in love with Kaze and vies for position to become his object of affection. Of course, Kaze is still sort of cold and sterile to that, so it's she just continues hugging him, and it doesn't really matter whether he pays attention to her or not. All that she cares about is that she's by his side, and that she can be seen in his eyes and he in hers. And I thought, that is so beautiful. And at that point in time, that very last part, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I was bawling like a baby. And especially when the revelation comes about I and you, and you learn about Kaze's past and the love that he had, and Aura was her name, and actually in the Malaysian version she's called Amala. And I like both because I think they're both really suitable names, and really quite splendid names at that. I mean, I'm not sure how they came up with these names, and especially for the summon creatures that come from Kaze's demon gun and the soil, the different types of soil he uses to actually cause these magnificent creatures, these massive, phenomenal beings to emit from that demon gun. It's just unbelievable. I always wanted to do the scene, I've chosen the soil for the likes of you. The mother of all things, Mother Black. The fire that burns everything, crimson red. And now the critical point, burning gold. Summon creature, come forth, Phoenix. Burn everything. Well, actually, I'm not going to do that because that wouldn't work very well because I'm a woman, and it would be weird. But it's just, he's such a cool character and just awesome. He's so powerful, and he later regains his memory, and he's a very tragic character, and then you really feel for him, and you see that he does have a heart, and he cares for others truly, and he is a altruistic figure, and you see that in the very end. But as far as animes are concerned, the only thing I didn't like about it was the ending, because it left a lot of matters unresolved. And of course, as I read on Wikipedia, the reason that they did this is because The Spirits Within, when it was out in the box office, completely tanked. And there were side stories that they were working on, but they never developed them fully, which is a real shame. If they only did, I wish they had, because I would have loved to have seen more insight to the characters themselves, and not just such an abrupt ending. And it was just so depressing, even though it was bittersweet. But what are you gonna do? I absolutely adored the anime, and I think anybody who's a Final Fantasy fan would absolutely love it. There's a lot of really this fabulous humor in this. It's very, very quick and very witty, and especially with Chocobo Granny and Chocobo's sister. I think they call her Chocobo Aunt. and both of them are comic relief, and even Mowgli is comic relief in some instances. And then there's another character named Fango who eats everything, and he's a strange little man, but it's just a mixture of a motley crew of sorts. And I love all the characters, even the villains. I think as far as favorite villains would be concerned, it's a toss up between Fist, um, the Count himself. He's just a spoiled wretch, and of course Helba. Helba is interesting, but I don't know if I would probably say Oscar, because Oscar's twisted and just messed up. He has serious issues going on in his head. He's psychotic, and he's very disturbing. If they show you a close up of his face, he just looks like evil incarnate. He is an assassin. And the way he acts, he's very Joker-esque in a way. He reminded me of the Joker, but on acid. He just gives me the chills. But other than that, villains. Well, we learned quite a bit about White Cloud, but I do love White Cloud as an anti-hero. So he's a very intriguing character with his own tragic past, and I'm not going to give anything away because that would be a spoiler, and I don't. No, nothing's coming out of my mouth about that. But this is the anime to watch, even though the ending is really, it leaves a lot to be desired. But maybe, just maybe, we can start a petition this way and just ask Gonzo to finish what they started, and maybe all the FFU fans around the world together we can make a difference and start a new Final Fantasy Unlimited 2, maybe. Just, anything's possible. We can do it. I would really like to see a resolution to everything. But beyond that, 5 stars, 2 thumbs way up for just an astronomical anime that in my heart is a classic and will always be, and just the pinnacle among anime series, especially that of fantasy and sci-fi, and just a little something for everybody in it. And if you you can take my word for it. Just if you haven't seen it, then check it out sometime.